talking F1. We're back after a couple of weeks away. Hello, Chris. How you doing?
Afternoon. All good. We're all sweating buckets, losing weight by the second.
Yeah, that's it. I'm drinking as much beer as I can to keep myself hydrated, and it's just pouring out in sweat faster than I can actually put the beers in. So I'm going to have to work doubly hard, I think. But there we go. It certainly is a hot one. Not as hot as it may well be in Austria this weekend, where Formula One heads after a couple of weeks away. And you're going, aren't you? Both yourself and Neil, who, the lesser spotted Neil on this podcast, are going to Austria to see the Grand Prix.
Neil's got an excuse today. Neil's got an excuse. He's dying in the heat of Stuttgart, so...
Well, it should be good. Are you looking forward to going?
Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, the weather... It's annoying, really. I think the weather will be too hot, but hopefully it doesn't dampen. Hopefully we can get, comfortable enough to enjoy it. I think it'll be the evenings in a tent after being in a day of 30-odd degree heat. That would be a bit, but you never know. You might get a rain turned up.
You never know. It's going to be fantastic. It's one of my favourite circuits. I love Austria. It's got a proper old-school feel to it, hasn't it? It's undulating. Some aspects of it are quite narrow, twisty-turny, pushes the cars and drivers a bit. Simple circuit, simple layout, but
I think we get the most. We get the most laps of the calendar year. I think something like that. So,
and
all back
it delivers. Oh yeah, it delivers solid races as well, doesn't it? It's a good circuit for that. We've had numerous memorable races, numerous incidents over the years. I think of Rosberg Hamilton back in 2016.
Yeah,
Norris and Verstappen a couple of years ago. There was. I remember the two Ferraris running into each other once in about 2020. Was it when they started the season there? When Ferrari was a god-awful car. But talking of Ferrari, for the first time in a long time, we come onto the podcast with Ferrari as the most recent race winners. Didn't win a race at all last year, did they? I think Sainz was their last winner. And who saw that coming? Who saw a Lewis Hamilton Ferrari win?
I don't think anybody did until lap 15 to 20, when he forced George onto the alternative strategy on the two-stop, pitted too early. But that Ferrari on the mediums in the race on that second part of the race was not going to get beaten. That he would have won the race without the virtual safety car. That I think we can say with a bit of confidence. The lap times he was putting in. Mercedes had no answer. Obviously, Ferrari brought a big upgrade. They brought a big upgrade. It was, and a lot of teams are bringing their big-ish upgrade this weekend. So we'll see if that transpires into them being as quick again. But,
Yeah, so they brought some big upgrades, and it did work. One of the two Ferraris was insanely quick. Maybe the wrong one. I think people had in their minds that the past couple of years it would really be Charles Leclerc that was challenging for the top spot and for pole positions and whatnot. He had a bit of a weekend to forget, didn't he? Crashed twice.
I've never subscribed to the Lewis has had it. The ground effect car, clearly he just couldn't get on board with his driving style. Now they've gone back to the more conventional race car. He's come back, he's built Ferrari around him. It's taken him 18 months, but he's built Ferrari to think his way of thinking. And I think they're now actually properly believing him because they're starting to see the fruits of the labour. And so I never thought he was actually lost it. I just think that it was circumstances that dictated his results. And he has a quick teammate who's very much a qualifier, not a racer. As we all know, Charles Leclerc, if they give points away on a Saturday, he'd win championships every year.
Yeah. It's... Charles Leclerc frustrates me because I'm a big Charles Leclerc fan. I really want to see him win. I want to see him fight for championships. But there's always a mistake in him. And he had the mistake in... Was it quali? It was quali, wasn't he? He had a mistake in quali. And...
It's now a big year for Charles. Big year. Because he's now, you would argue, first time in his career under pressure from a teammate.
Yeah.
Sainz, they're pretty even, but he was always the one who's a little bit ahead. Even Vettel, he was ahead. That's kind of, some were saying that he forced Vettel out of the team because of how he was beating him. So this is the first time in his Ferrari career that he's actually being looked at. Actually, are you as good as we thought you were?
Yeah, and it's maybe the pressure is starting to show a little bit because Hamilton really has. The past couple of races, Hamilton has hit good form. He's second in the championship, which when we thought it was going to be a two-car championship, it was just going to be Mercedes 1-2, swapping between George and Kimi, and suddenly, it's Lewis Hamilton's up there in second. Russell, bounced back with a podium and a pole position. Excuse me, but Lewis has been putting in some good performances and deservedly got a race win, and it was quite emotional, wasn't it? It was to see him reacting to the Italian anthem.
Well, you think you leave a team where he would have known that power unit was going to be the class field in 2026. George has intimated it a few times. So he left that team for reasons not purely on performance. It was his dream, etc., etc. And the first season goes horrendously, really. And he's questioned himself. His Ferrari questioned as well. And then it gets to a point where actually, last few races, he's come back and he's won, and he's thought, actually, I am meant to be here. So you see why he's a bit emotional. It's just hopefully Ferrari as a team can follow it up. That's always big criticisms we've had on this show is that they tend not to develop a car, but it looks like they are developing a car.
Yeah, hopefully they can continue this because I think we all want to see as many people in a championship fight as we can. We don't want to see a two-car championship. You want to see the likes of Ferrari up there fighting McLaren, Red Bull. And it makes for very, very entertaining watching. It was quite a concern, wasn't it, that Kimi Antonelli dropped out after. George got away with one there because Antonelli finished ahead of him again. But
that was a strange one, wasn't it?
Mercedes reliability.
George was the quicker Mercedes driver all up until lap 20, and then it flipped on its head, and George lost all pace, and Kimi was quick. And obviously Toto came out afterwards and pretty much said that we need to start doing team orders, which is interesting. The battery issue is something that Mercedes can't quite get their head around. I read the other day that they're getting a contractor in to have a look at the electrical systems because they can't quite understand what's going on, which is concerning if you're Mercedes, McLaren, Alpine, etc.
Ouch. That is... It is concerning, isn't it? But we've seen a few Mercedes issues, and McLaren have had no end of issues with their reliability, including things like double DNSs. Excuse me. We've had a few, obviously Mercedes with George in Canada, now Kimi in Barcelona. I don't want to see the championship decide if it is going to be just the Mercedes drivers really as the season goes along. If Ferrari do drop back, I don't want to see it become a championship of reliability. You can argue that back in 2016, the championship took its biggest swing when Hamilton dropped out in Malaysia. That infamous moment there when his car went up in smoke. I don't want to see that happen again, where we've got this potentially biblical title fight between two really quick competitive drivers.
Yeah.
But it's just decided every now and then by, Kimi won it because George's engine failed in wherever, or vice versa.
No, I agree.
So hopefully it's something they can get on top of. Because it is concerning. And like I say, it's not just concerning for Mercedes, it's concerning for the customers. You've got McLaren, Alpine, Williams.
McLaren have had the worst of it so far with the engine and the battery, etc., haven't they? Whereas Mercedes seem to sort of not have any issues. That's why everybody's thinking that have they done something dirty to the McLaren or the customers and not told them this and that. But actually, it turns out they are actually getting issues. It's not. It's like the old Mercedes back in 2006. It's the class of the field, but it sometimes can be a bit of a bag of spanners.
Yeah.
When Kimi had the quickest car in, was it 06? Pretty sure it was 06.
05, I think. Because that McLaren was so fast, but the engine was made of crisps.
But everything else just fell apart around it. So. But Mercedes, you must be very concerned because it's from what I can gather, it's not something that they quite know why. And if you don't, it's a lot. It's better to have a problem that you know why because you've got avenues to go down. But if you don't have a clue what's happening, don't know why it's shutting down, why it's shutting down. It's not. There's no specific.
Yeah, there's no reason.
So yeah, it's concerning on their front, and
It is.
we shall see if that plays out further down the line. I'd rather have a Kimi versus George battle and Kimi absolute chancing, but
not biased at all.
no.
No, it's a tricky one because I do like both the drivers. You know, I was a massive George fan back in his Williams days. I mean, he's dropped off a little bit in my opinion, but I am leaning more towards Kimi. But we're unbiased.
I still lean on the side of the fence of I think George won this championship in his head after Australia.
Yeah, I love the comments of I love this car, I love this engine, and now it's like, well, the car's more suited to Kimi.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that didn't go well.
Yeah, I think he got a bit complacent and too early, and it's come back to bite him. And he's struggling to find it again. But we shall see over these next few weeks.
It's going to be very, very interesting, isn't it? I think I can say with certainty that Williams aren't really being affected by it as much because the car just doesn't go as fast, doesn't get up to speed quick enough to actually trigger a reliability problem.
You don't even know what engine Williams has got in it because it can never go quick enough, can they? You know.
It might be the Mercedes from 20 years ago. Who knows?
You can have a two-stroke in there and you wouldn't know because.
Yeah, my lawnmower's out the back with nothing in it. That might be why. No, it's gone. They've nicked it. But there we go. Yeah, it should be a very interesting race and a very interesting season going forward as well because this is Austria. It's a circuit that will favour. Oh, it's more sort of high speed, isn't it? So it will favour the quick power tracks.
I'm looking. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I was going to say I'm looking forward to Red Bull this weekend. I'm very much looking forward to Red Bull. They've got upgrades coming, which is going to make them weight. So apparently they've shaved 12 kilos off the car in the last couple of races, and then this is them making weight. So I'm intrigued because Max has been doing well in quali. Obviously the races have gone a bit awry. They've been a bit slow in the races, but I'm interested to see how they get on. Whether this upgrade brings them forward in race pace, because we know in quali they've got pace.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the Aduo is to be believed, they've got the best engine. What's that all about? Well, so Honda were the worst, shockingly. And apparently the Mercedes needs upgrades.
I don't think there's enough tokens to give to Honda to make that engine better at the minute.
No, although apparently they are. You keep seeing these things saying, we've got this coming through. We're confident. We've got this coming through. It's going to shave seconds off our car. We're going to be scoring points regularly. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I was watching something, I can't remember what it was, and it was about the Ferrari in like 2013 or something, and it was an absolute dog of the car. And Massa was, I don't know, he was like 2 seconds a lap off the pace, and then he had a collision with someone else, and it knocked his front wing end plate off, and the car went instantly a second and a half quicker.
Oh no, I was listening. It was another podcast, wasn't it?
I can't remember where I heard it, but anyway, it just reminds me. I remember it as well, and it just reminds me of the disaster man need to knock something off, and then something they'll find some pace somewhere.
I think it was Rob Smedley talking about like 09 or something when the car was an absolute bag of biscuits.
Yeah, I think it might have been that, and just make me chuckle. I was like, I think is that what Aston Martin did? He accidentally knocked something off, and then they're like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, the two Aston Martins have collided for the third race in a row. They're both really quick again. That's the tactic. Send them out there, lap 2, just a little knock together.
Yeah.
Front wing end plate's gone. Pew, class of the field. So Aston needs a hell of a lot of work. I mean, I know that obviously Adrian Newey has designed championship winning car after championship winning car with Red Bull and Williams, McLaren. But could this one risk sort of damaging his reputation a little bit? Because if this is one of his last F1 cars and it goes out in a ball of flames like this.
If he had an engine that was mildly competitive, say an Audi type engine, he's been very fortunate that the Honda has taken a lot of eyes off him. And it's but this B-spec car they're bringing in Hungary, I think it is massive. Absolutely massive. They're not expecting, we're not expecting them to suddenly pinch up in the pole fight, but they need to be moving towards Williams and Haas really with this B-spec car. If they don't get to that point, then serious questions have to be asked. Because
the difficult thing for them was Monaco, wasn't it? Because everyone was saying, it's because the Honda engine is absolutely terrible. They've got no power on the straights or anything like that. You come to Monaco, which it doesn't rely so much on engine power. It's all about the car and the chassis, and it was awful.
No, they've all realised the whole round package is an absolute donkey.
Yeah, it is. It is probably one of the worst Formula One cars we've seen.
Retire it to Blackpool Beach.
Yeah, the donkeys would be quicker. It is. I mean, there's certain F1 cars which stick out in my mind as being absolutely terrible. And that is almost top of the pile because like the 2019 Williams was absolutely terrible. That was all.
It's like a Virgin Mauritius type.
The sort of those early 2010 era back market cars.
They had excuses. They were brand new teams. Low budgets. Aston Martin, you could argue, if the cost cap was taken away, would have a budget just as much as a Ferrari, Mercedes, a Red Bull, McLaren. They wouldn't be scared of spending that much money.
That's the frustrating thing. They've got the money, they've got the facilities, they've got state-of-the-art facilities they have spent millions of pounds on. They've got one of the best Formula One drivers that F1 has seen in Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. So they can't do anything with this combination. And Monaco was painful because everyone thought, all right, well, this is the chance for Aston to maybe get a point or two on the board. And I know they did with everything that happened. But
you have to start to think, is Alonso actually properly cursed or something? Because this time last year, we found out roughly knew he was going to Aston Martin or whatever it was. And you think, finally, he's got a designer who's the best designer in the whole world, and this is the crock of absolute manure that's been turned out. He must sit there and think, what can I do to get a decent car?
He's finally got a newie car with a Honda in the back, and Honda have been the class of the field in recent years. There's a lot of rumours going around. They seem to have gone a bit quiet recently, but with Flavio being his manager and currently at Alpine, going back to Alpine for sort of another swan song at the team he won his World Championships. And you can guarantee that if he goes to Alpine, they'll be terrible.
I don't see the point of going to Alpine. The problem with Alpine is they're trying to sell.
Yeah.
What is it? All the superstar people, all the celebrities that chipped in a few years back. They're all that group who owns that part of the team. They're trying to sell, I'm under the impression. So they're not really that bothered about investing too much into the car to be the front runner. They're trying to get their money back at the minute.
But the only thing you can guarantee is that whichever team Alonso does end up at next year is just going to be terrible. If he goes to Alpine, they'll go off the cliff.
Stick in a Mercedes, and then that'll curse them. They'll be done, and then we'll have everybody back playing a level playing field.
I wonder how much he regrets. I mean, he'll never say it, but if he does regret leaving Ferrari at the end of 2014, because 2015 they had a race-winning car with Vettel again, and a year, 2 years down the line, they were fighting for titles along with Mercedes. Just because he had a couple of poor years in 2013, 2014.
Did he have to leave Ferrari? That's the question. Did he have to leave? Because realistically, Vettel could have come in for Kimi.
Yeah, Alonso. Imagine an Alonso-Vettel pairing.
Yeah, it was Kimi, wasn't it? He came in for Kimi. So he could have come in for there, and they would have moved. But maybe Alonso could he stay at the ESP number one and Ferrari, or no, we're bringing Vettel for code one, blah blah. So
an Alonso-Vettel partnership would have been incredible. Metal J said, "Oh, hi! Such a shame Russell's car packed up. The battle with Antonelli would have been great. Their battles bring back memories of Villeneuve and Arnoux. Yeah, that would have been incredible. It's the battles we've seen from them this year have been fantastic. I mean, Canada was brilliant until Russell's
they're properly racing today. You got a youngster who's fresh and races hard. Sometimes some people say he doesn't know how to race, but we like it.
Yeah,
and they're not."
Yeah, they've had some fantastic battles, and unfortunately, one of their cars has given up in a couple of races now, which is hugely unfortunate because it could have been a big swing here and there, but it also shows that the title's not over. People were saying, "Well, Antonelli's walked this," but there was a time last year when Piastri was so far ahead, and suddenly,
it's definitely not over. Especially when you've got, Ferrari, McLaren, Miami. McLaren was the quickest car. Should have won the race. So we've got enough people teams that can do some damage to Mercedes. So it's not a foregone conclusion that Kimi's won this.
No. Well, we've got a couple of minutes left. It's a slightly shorter show tonight, as you are off to Austria in the early hours of the morning as well to join our friend Neil in Austria. So, in reverse order, what's your podium for the Austrian Grand Prix?
I'm going to go. No, there's no sprint this year.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Kimi third, Lewis second, Max for the win. Just because I wouldn't mind, even though I saw Max in Belgium win, it was the year that he trounced everybody. I feel like if he won it this year, it might be something, especially in Austria, it might be something special. And
yeah. Nice. I was going to go Verstappen third, Kimi second, and I'm going to go all out. Charles Leclerc win. I'm throwing caution.
He's changed his
sanity.
He's gone for Brembos. He's ditched the Brembos.
Yep. The walls aren't close enough for him. Well, some of the walls are close enough to hit, but there's gravel traps for him to bin it in. But I'm throwing caution and logic to the wind. Charles Leclerc win. Let's go. Problems for Antonelli. Russell second. Verstappen third. I think. But thank you very, very much for joining us. We are back next week, I believe. But keep an eye open. Do follow, do subscribe, all that good stuff as well. Enjoy the Austrian Grand Prix. Have a great week, and we shall see you next week. Cheers.